All right, you are ready to go.
All right, welcome everybody. First order of business is approval of the minutes for the February 23rd, 2021 meeting. Can we get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, first item of business, 0117-21. Communication submitting an application for a Class B retail fermented malt beverage and intoxicating liquor license for Taste of Soul Bar and Grill, doing business as Taste of Soul, located at 501 6th Street. Rebecca McCray, agent, First District. So we're going to be getting them on the phone right now.
All right, Rebecca, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, Rebecca, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
We are here on your application today. You will have a chance to tell this committee about your business and why you're applying for this license. After that, I will read the summary for the Good Neighbors Report, and this committee may ask some questions of you. I will then check to see if city staff has any information to add, or if any members of the audience wishes to speak for or against this license application. Well, please go ahead and tell us about your business.
Me and my husband have a restaurant and bar. So Taste of Soul comes from, sorry, my phone. Taste of Soul comes from the music and the food. So my husband is a drummer and he's been in, quite a few different bands, playing throughout the city of Racine. And then the food comes from his grandmother, who, taught him how to cook and all of that. So that's where the name comes from. We have a very, big passion for this. We have been planning it for quite a few years now. And also his grandfather as well was a blues player.
Can you tell us, how long have you been open with the restaurant?
Our first day was February 12th.
Okay, and the restaurant's been going good?
The restaurant's been doing well.
All right, if that's all, first thing I'll have to see, I will have our city attorney, you guys went to this Good Neighbors meeting, and then the committee may ask some questions of you. So Noah, if you'd like to go through that.
Okay.
Sure, I can do that. So the Good Neighbors Report is also attached to the agenda. I'm not sure how many committee members read it, but I'll just highlight some of the more important things. This was an unusual application in that we had two Good Neighbors meetings, and the first one initially was in December of 2020. At that time, Taste of Soul applied with Renee Miller as the agent. The names Rebecca and Damian McCray were omitted from the application. Subsequently, we asked Ms. Miller why they weren't on the application. She stated that she didn't know that they were supposed to be on there. There was some conflicting information because when she went to the city clerk's office to ask whether, she was asked whether or not there's anyone else associated with the premises or the business, she indicated that there's no one else and that no one else should be listed on the application. Subsequently, obviously, we found out that Damian and Rebecca McCray are the true owners of the business. So they were required to submit an additional application or a new application with their names on it this time. Between the first application and the second application, as the committee will recall, there was a licensed premise report where there was an incident that was reported at the premise. Police officers arrived on the licensed premise on January 2nd because there were allegations that the place was selling alcohol without a license. The officer was unable to substantiate this, but Damian McCray was there. He did state that day earlier, the premises did have a private party for friends and family. that alcohol was served, but that he did not serve alcohol. I'm sorry, that alcohol was brought by family and friends, that he did not serve alcohol. Subsequently thereafter, Damian and Rebecca McCray submitted a second application, new application this time, the one that's before the committee today. We had a Good Neighbors meeting in March of this year, March 2nd, and some of the things that we discussed were the omission of the names on the initial application, the criminal records belonging to Damian and Rebecca McCray. As I highlighted in the report, Damian McCray does have a criminal history that disqualifies him for a license, so the committee should ask some questions as to whether or not he has been rehabilitated before it grants a license. With respect to Rebecca McCray, we were unable to get a criminal history background check back, but you'll have to check with Sergeant Webb on the details of that. She did indicate that she had a record going back to 2012, although it's unclear whether she's disqualified for a license. We also discussed their lack of experience, that neither one has worked in a bar or ever managed a bar, and the director and manager also has no experience working at a bar, so that's something that was important to consider. So that's in the report for the committee's consideration. There were some potential concerns relating to noise and music, and that's not specific to this premises. That's just specific to bars in the downtown area, given the problems that the committee has had with respect to other bars in the area, and complaints from residential citizens in the area. There was some discussion about potential gambling machines, some unclear information that was received, but I did inform the owners that any gambling machines on the premises would be illegal and that they would be subject to criminal convictions and prosecution for that. With respect to the premise description, it should be clarified to say that it's the entire first floor building, including the back kitchen area and then basement for storage. So if the committee approves, it should be with that amendment. And lastly, yeah, the police department just went over tips as to how to deal with noise complaints and crowd control. And then as always, I from the city attorney's office went over some of the summary of the local regulations and state regulations concerning alcohol. So that's pretty much it, unless the committee has any specific questions about anything that's in the report.
I mean, everybody should have got this in their packet. There was a letter from a supervising probation officer that states that he's successfully started his own business, clothing store and stuff, and they were pleased with his ongoing how he's ongoing with his life and how he's really doing really good things and succeeding with them. So I don't know if there's any questions from the committee, but I do believe you got letters of support from people on the emails, and I'm going to go out and say I'm one person that I am in support of this. I've gone over there, talked to numerous people. This group of people at this bar have done everything that was asked of them. They put in a lot of money, a lot of hard sweat, and they've been honest with me about everything. I mean, the one time New Year's Eve, they had a private party. They shouldn't have been open. I understand that, and they realize this. But I'm really supportive of this license, and we have to give people a chance. So before we go anyplace else, we have some people that are calling in. I would like to hear from them if that's a possibility. So do we need a motion for that or no?
No.
I would make a motion if needed.
Say again?
I would make a motion for the callers to come in. I know someone that's trying to call in.
All right, we have a second? All right, you have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can't hear anybody else.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye,
Okay.
looking for the unmute.
Okay, all right, so can we go to the callers, please?
Alder Coe, can you see who the attendees are on your panelist list or no?
No, I can't. So you call out.
Okay. Okay, I do have a Nick Dembski with his hand up. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Nick, can you unmute?
Can you all hear me?
Nick,
I can hear him.
Okay, I've just hung up I was on the phone also. You can still hear me, is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. So thank you, Chairman Coe, and thank you, members of the committee, for just allowing my voice here today. Just wanted to give public comment in support of Mr. and Ms. McCray and of this request that they've made. I know them personally, and I know of their involvement in the community. I just know them to be people of excellent character, and I am very glad that they are pursuing this. So for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Nick Dembski. I'm the county supervisor of Racine County's 1st District. Downtown Racine is part of Racine County's 1st District. So this pursuit that Mr. McCray is requesting here would be bringing a lot of quality of life enhancement to my district. I won't speak for a long time. I want to express appreciation for Alder Coe, and I think I've been, if I understand correctly, Alder Horton has already expressed his support for this request also. So I just, want to applaud both of you for demonstrating leadership and showing that. You know, I was elected by the people of the 1st District to speak for the people of the 1st District. So to some degree, when I speak for the community that this establishment is trying to set its roots in. And I would say that this is exactly the sort of person that we would hope would come and set up shop in the 1st District. Someone who has a history in the community, that has seen real challenge, that has seen real adversity, and has managed to pull themselves out of that adversity, has managed to embed themselves into the community, and has managed to make such a name for themselves that, to my understanding, they've been able to generate a lot of community trustees to submit letters of support or communications of support on their behalf. So again, this is exactly the sort of business and the sort of business owners that I want to encourage, and that we in the 1st District want to see taking up establishment here. I think that this is not only a question of just economic development here, but this is a question of racial equity in a city and a greater community that has a history of great struggles around this. So I thank you all for your discernment, in this situation. I thank you all for just your time and for your attention and, you know, hearing me out on this. And more than anything, I thank you for your service to the community. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
okay, we also have Chief Howell, and I'm not sure if he would like to speak. Chief Howell, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, good evening to the committee members and anyone else on the call. I'd just like to take this opportunity to kind of state why I decided to monitor the meeting tonight, and I'll just weigh in. Obviously, as the police chief, I have a pretty vested interest in public safety. And so when I had an opportunity to speak with the prospective applicants here, I actually stopped at the restaurant to have some food a couple Sundays ago, and that was a good experience. And subsequent to that opportunity to engage on a personal level, what I did is I laid out some clear expectations that I would have as the police chief. And as has been stated, the family that is involved in this endeavor has made some great strides in terms of building community equity and relationships. But on a more personal level, I can tell you that the applicants come from some families that are well established in Racine. And on the strength of those relationships, I took the time to dig deeper into who was involved in this and what their roles would be and what the expectations were. And I came away from this experience compelled to at least share my thoughts. And that is this. For those who don't know, the Racine Police Department wrote a grant back in 1995, and you can learn more about this online, but it was basically the community reentry grant. And what our objective was is when we had people returning citizens, we referred to them as when they returned to the community from corrections. Our whole objective was to put them on a trajectory to do great things and to be better versions of themselves and to become citizens that, would be good neighbors. And I think from what I've seen so far, we may have a unique opportunity to highlight what happens at this place. Now, my expectations are high because the families involved are respectable families in Racine. And so based on my interaction, I'm willing to, I want to make sure that we give this family an opportunity to succeed. And I think they've illustrated to me that they have the backing of the community, and I'm willing to put my name on, a down payment on a successful operation. Now, that comes along with, some future engagement, right? And so I want to certainly lend my expertise in having issues with licensed establishments in the downtown area. I want to bring that history of experience to the table so that we can elevate this applicant and prevent some problems that we've had in the past. And so again, based on now that's notwithstanding some of the things that happened that were not ideal, but we believe that those things were correctable, and we believe that the proper steps have been taken to correct them. And I would be willing to work with this family in the weeks and months to come to ensure their success.
All right, thank you very much, Chief. I sure appreciate it.
No problem.
All right.
Do we have anyone else?
CJ, are you there? CJ? Okay, I don't have, can you hear us, CJ?
Yeah.
Did you have anything did you want to talk on this item?
I did not, but thank you for offering.
All right, thank you. All right, and then, that is Sergeant Webb. DeAndrea?
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, did you want to speak on anything on this item?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm going to be the manager at Taste of Soul. And I just want to, put a little input on, Damien and Rebecca and how hard they worked with getting this establishment open. Literally, I've been there since the beginning, and I know how important it is to Damien and Rebecca to carry on his grandmother and his grandfather legacy with the music and the soul food. And all Damien wants to do is play music and, and feed the community good food. And I'm very proud of him and Rebecca. And I think this will be a great establishment to downtown Racine, as well as the city of Racine. It's something different that we don't have. And I'm just very proud of them. And I'm just happy to be a part of, what him and Rebecca have brought to Racine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have anybody else?
I do not believe so, unless you want to speak to Sergeant Webb.
Well, I want to. So anyway, I've had some long talks with Damien, and I asked them, and because of some of the problems we've had, I asked them if they would be open to amending their hours of operation. So they told me from Sunday through Thursday night, they would be closing at 1 a.m. And on Friday and Saturday nights, they would close at 1:30, which is an hour before bar time. So that should alleviate any kind of issues that may arise down there. And you, Damien, if you're there, you guys are open to this. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do we have any questions from the committee members at all?
No, I'd just like to say some, just in regards, I know we received a couple letters from Pastor Hargrove, and I think the letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office, Bill Lipscomb, I actually did some work in Milwaukee with him for years, and that speak very highly of the U.S. Attorney's Office to send a letter and to say that they are in support of it. And then on top of that, the chief saying that he's in support, and a county supervisor. Damien, he went out with me a year ago to Gilmore. We talked to some at-risk youth over at Gilmore when Gilmore was having some hard times over there. I think we talked about 25, 30 young men over there. I have heard them play. I've heard the music that they actually play within the city. They usually play sometime down at Smoke on the river, water, and it's always a nice time. Never have I been down there. It's always been a place that you can take kids and family, and you can take your wife if you want to and go and listen to some good music. So I'm very excited about this project. I know a lot of people that have talked to them have been community leaders, and I trust that they know what they're talking about, and they trust that they're gonna be successful and do the right thing. And they have a lot of good people that are supporting them. So I would talk in favor of this item.
Right. Do we have anyone else that wants to speak on this item?
Can I just ask one question, Alder Cole?
Sure.
This is Melissa Lemke, and it sounds like there's a lot of people who, I both understand the concerns that it's new and what have you, but it sounds like there's a lot of people willing to kind of help support and, walk through this with the new business owners, which is great. The one thing I just wanted to make sure is, of course, because we deal with liquor licensing, is there like ongoing, that I'm just curious about in general, is there any ongoing training or updates people have about liquor law updates or anything like that we could help support people if they are new business owners?
So the Department of Revenue, I'm sorry, did you want me
Go
to answer
ahead.
that question?
Go ahead.
So the Department of Revenue usually puts out updates and training. Sometimes they put together publications, and they do have a publication that would be relevant to most bar owners. I can certainly send the link to Damien and Rebecca McCrae as well as DeAndre Smith. But that publication is usually helpful. It goes over some of the general basic rules. And then every once in a while, they do have updates, so they can sign up for updates from the Department of Revenue's website. And then obviously, I'm always available as a resource as well. If they ever have any questions, they can come to me with those legal questions.
Okay, and I really appreciate that because, I want to balance both sides with the, with the concerns, but seems like a lot of support of them. And I know sometimes well-meaning people, can just be confused, just like I was about some of the laws when getting on the community committee. And so I just want to make sure that they have everything that they need, but I would be willing to support it.
Okay, and I also want to go out and tell Damien there is a resource if they would like to take it. They could join the Racine City Tavern League. There's a lot of resources there, and I think it's relatively cheap, like $150 a year. And you can get a lot of input from all the bar owners that belong here. So that's just a option for you guys.
Okay.
All right. So I guess I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a
I would
motion.
second it.
All right. We have a motion and a second. And that is with the amended hours, am I correct?
Yes.
All right. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? All right, so this passes. This will go to council next week, Tuesday, and you can contact the city clerk's office. They may have to get some information from you, Damian.
Okay.
All right, then, but congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right,
Good luck.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
so now. All right, moving on, except for one thing. Misplaced my agenda. Here we go. Next item of business, 11621, communication requesting the appearance of Melissa Gister for an operator's license working in the 8th District. Is Melissa on the line?
1 second.
Yes,
Melissa,
I'm
can
here.
you hear us?
Yes.
All right, Melissa. All right. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You are here because you either provided a false statement on your license application or have been convicted of at least one offense which disqualifies you for a license. As a result, you are generally disqualified from obtaining an operator's license unless you can demonstrate to us that you have been rehabilitated and there was good cause for the false statement. We will start with the police department's background check, and then you will have an opportunity to address the committee. Go ahead, Sergeant Webb.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hi. Good evening. This applicant is disqualified under guideline number 1 for the felony conviction what substantially relates, and that's due to a 2011 conviction for possession of narcotics, which was a felony in nature.
And looking at it, has numerous other things on the record. We care to address the committee, Ms. Gister.
Yes, I'm first, I guess, questioning how does that substantially relate? How does a drug charge that I was upfront about having relate to me making employment bartending?
All right. If the city attorney could kind of give her an answer to that, hopefully.
Sure. So a couple years ago, the committee passed a policy guideline with respect to which offenses substantially relate to the activity of being a bartender or having an operator's license. And among those guidelines would include drug offenses, resisting and obstructing, retail theft, carrying concealed weapon, disorderly conduct. And all of those were deemed to substantially relate by the committee back when the policy was passed. Certainly any person could make the argument for each particular offense. I'm not going to go into that because the committee has already done that by passing that policy. So that's what we would rely on here to disqualify that person. Based on all those convictions, the committee found that the person does not substantially qualify. So if you'd like, I could go over each one of those, but I don't know if that's necessary given the guidance.
No, I just wanted to give her why we were doing what we did. I mean, and it also has that you're going to be bartending for a place that no longer is has a liquor license also.
Currently, yes. but that isn't that, honestly, that I wasn't aware that I didn't have to fill in a business when I actually did that application. I found that out afterwards, that I could have left that open. But I guess my biggest factor in this situation is I currently also have my own business that is up and coming once I'm able to actually secure location for it. And I also have a pending job opportunity with a very big company here, where it's just a plus on my application. It looks good on my resume. It's been posted that, I applied for this and it was pending confirmation. My background and my business that I have of my own in the making is a cooking business. So I look forward to doing the same exact thing Damian McCray and his wife have done. And this was just the start. Since I was turning into the head cook at that bar that was currently open, it just made sense for me to also have the same licensing in order to fill in when needed. But as far as this criminal charge is concerned, these offense dates are from, I believe it was May of 2010, all very public knowledge on CCAP. None of it was withheld in this application. When I found out that I had these charges, I turned myself in. I didn't wait to be caught. I took care of this situation. I fought for my freedom. I want to say 4.5, 5 years. I ended up not going to jail at all. I ended up with 3 years probation that I completed successfully, even was granted an early discharge. I didn't even have to do the 3 years because, I was an upstanding citizen, and I haven't done anything since then. Like this situation here, granted, it was a felony, serious offense, but I'm on the straight and narrow. I do exactly what I'm supposed to do, and I'm fighting for my 5-year date to petition for a pardon next year, July.
Okay, do we have any questions from any of the committee members?
Chairman Coe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to, I was just looking through some of the paperwork, with Melissa, and I see some of her charges she completed, some of the charges some was imposed and stayed. The other in 2010 was completed. She had probation. And even though it looks as if it was something lengthy, I do know her also. And as a matter of fact, I know her son too. And I've always seen her as a person, she's always at the game. She has a son that's in college up in Madison. And when she says she's been handling her business, I can say that she has been handling her business. I know we all go through some things in life that we wish we had enough, and we all wish we could change it all. But at the same time, an opportunity, if that business is formally closed and she's looking to improve herself also, I would be willing to support that. And I don't, you guys know me, I'm a person of second chances. And I just think that, but if I didn't know her and I knew that she was on something different other than what I see and what I know, then I would have a different opinion about saying this. So I would be willing to support this.
Do we have any other questions from any of the committee members?
Alder Cole, this is Melissa. I don't know if you can see my hand up,
Yes.
but so this is Alder Lemke. Usually I think what our policy says is that if we want to grant a license, outside of our guidelines, we usually ask for some whatever exactly you want to call it. I don't know its term, but term of rehabilitation, something from like an office, like a probation officer or AOTA program or something like that. So it's kind of demonstration that they, that someone supports their, that someone who has seen their rehabilitation kind of thing.
So kind of like the letter we had for the last applicant?
Yeah, where there's where there's people who can, that we know who can speak to the, you know, to that fact, can we request something like that?
Yeah, you can do whatever, request whatever you want. I mean, that's, I guess what you're saying is really important, and I appreciate that.
So I guess, you know, what I would think about is maybe, and, you know, it's kind of open to the committee, but like maybe deferring it to the next meeting, which would be 2 weeks from today. And then in that 2 weeks, just asking for some, you know, something like that, kind of, you know, essentially, I mean, I don't know what you want to call it, a letter of reference, you know, proof of rehabilitation, something like that.
That's something you
Hello?
could, yes.
I guess I kind of want to jump in on that. I understand your reasoning for that, but I also kind of think that if it shows that the courts granted me an early discharge that was approved through my Department of Corrections and my judge on my case, I was just discharged almost 4 years ago. Like, I go to work. I've worked at my past company for the last 5 years up until being laid off for COVID. I don't know why I'm still being crucified for something that I've already done what the community or what the system said that I needed to do.
Yeah. Well, this is something we required for other operators, but when they got their licenses, they bought letters of support from their employer or other things like that just shows us something like that. I mean,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Is that something you could get a hold of and get sent to us?
Yeah, I definitely can do that. I just need to know who it is you want it from, so I get it.
Well, I mean, like, I guess, if you could get something from your parole officer, something from an employer. You said you no longer work for the employer, but you know, people's.
Yeah.
We had other people that called in and, you know, show support. So if we get some letters or something like that sent to the city clerk's office, and then that would come back in 2 weeks, if that wouldn't be a hardship, just to verify.
No, that would I don't have a problem with doing that.
Yeah, and Alderco, I should clarify that I'm not, this is Melissa again, I'm not necessarily, like, I'm not trying to say we shouldn't support it. It's just kind of having our ducks in a row kind of thing.
It's just something we have been doing for a little while, so.
Understood.
So I guess, let's go with make a motion, Melissa.
Sure, I would just defer to 2 weeks and then, you know, with the, you know, the hope that we can approve it just with those letters or what have you.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll repeat second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right, if you could get a hold of the city clerk's office and get that information in, Ms. Gister, and we'll work on this in 2 weeks.
All right, appreciate everyone's time.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next item of business, 182-21, communication on behalf of the City of Racine Police Department, liaison of the Public Safety and Licensing Committee, requesting the consideration of the licensed premise report for 3/9/21 and any formal expressions of concern pursuant to it. Anything jump out at you, Sergeant Webb?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to February 24th at GRC's. Officers responded to the 1200 block of Douglas for reported shots fired. Dispatch advised they received several calls for 4 to 5 shots in the area. Upon arriving, officers observed a large crowd quickly leaving the bar. The officers advised one of the patrons stated they were shooting, but would not provide details. As officers attempted to make contact with the bar, they noted the doors were locked. The parties inside refused to open them for officers. The officers added it was clear that the bar was still open due to the amount of people still inside the bar, and the parties inside were notified by the officers to open the door. The bar patrons and staff never opened the door for the officers, and the officers was unable to do the premise check. And then if we go down to the 27th, officers went back to the bar to make contact with the owner, referenced the incident on the 24th. In speaking with him, they gave me a follow-up. He did acknowledge that the incident on the 24th, he wasn't there, and that he told his staff and anyone in the bar that he acknowledged that the police should have been allowed in there on the day of the 24th. For that visit, it should be noted that he did not have the bar license available, and he was only able to show officers a copy. There was another mention of a party, to which he said on the 24th there was a private party at that location, and a female he knew by the name of Bonnie, he didn't know her last name, was the person in charge that night and should have been responsible for allowing officers to do the license premise. The officer did note that on the night of the incident, that being the 24th, it is unknown if the shots fired calls were related to the bar at all.
Okay. Anything from any of the committee members?
I have a question. Was there any reason given as to why the cooperation wasn't what it at the standards it should have been between people in the bar and the officers? Why didn't they open the door?
When they went back on the 27th, they made contact with the owner, and he said that there was a private party at that bar that night, and his bar staff should have allowed the police inside to do the premise check, but there was no clear reason given as to why that didn't occur.
Okay, thank you.
So any recommendations from the committee?
I got a couple questions.
Okay, go ahead.
One, even though it was a private party, did the officers, in reference to the 24th event, did they ask the owner if they had any video of that time? And two, with the officers going back on the 27th and with the license not being hung and posted as should be, were they given a ticket?
All right, first things first, reference to the 24th event, I don't think they went to view video. Reference that. Reference the license not being presented. They did not issue him a citation at that time. So no citation was issued, and they did not check for video reference who was at the bar the night they weren't allowed in.
Okay, is it kind of a discretion thing as to giving a ticket because by law, they have to have that thing posted?
It is. And I can be honest with you, sometimes depending on the bar and how often we're there and the cooperation of the owner, it determines whether or not they're going to be given a citation. We've had this before where bar owners or officers haven't been allowed in the bar, and then we get an excuse from the bar owner as to why the officers weren't going to get in or shouldn't be let in. I just see on the 27th, he said they should have been let in, but he couldn't explain why they weren't that night.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions or concerns? Okay, I guess I would entertain a motion, unless anyone wants them called in, I would entertain a motion to receive and file. Lou?
Are we receiving and file the whole report? I mean, there hasn't.
Is there anything else that jumps out at the, usually if there's nothing that jumps out at the officer, that's what we do.
I just wasn't sure if he was done.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
anything
I'm
else,
done unless
Sergeant
you guys-
Webb?
No,
Say-
I'm done unless you guys got any questions or something else you want me to follow up on.
Okay. So guess I would entertain a motion at this point.
Motion to receive and file.
We have a second?
Second.
You have a motion and a second to receive and file. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One more question, Sergeant Webb. Have you gone back to check to see if they have their license hanging now?
No, but I can definitely have that done.
All right, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so that brings our agenda to the end, And if anyone else got anything else, otherwise I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you very much. And
And thank you all. Take
Thank
care.
you all.
All
Thank
right.
you, guys. All right.
Have a great evening.
You up?